Okay, you're going to start out with your paper, some scissors, a pencil, and a thick black Sharpie. And then these two templates that you're going to use to trace, kind of like we did with our turtles. What you're going to do is first you're going to cut out your circle template right here. And once we use these to trace, we're just going to throw them away. It's just going to be some trash. Please make sure you put it in the trash can and not just on the floor. Cut out my circle. Now I need to cut out my rectangle. And then once I get these cut out, I'm just going to put them to the side and wait till it's time to use them. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw like almost like what a looks like a text, like what you see in cartoons around here, like the little text box. I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to start out with like a V at the bottom of my paper. Then kind of slowly go around almost to the edge of the paper, but not quite. And go up to use up my entire paper almost, but I'm leaving a little bit of a border around the outside. And then I'm going to come back down, around, and meet up. And it's not going to be perfect on the edges or straight. It doesn't need to be. That's kind of part of the style. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take your circle template and put it down right in the middle of the shape you just created. And you're going to follow that circle template. I know it's a little hard with just a little piece of paper, but if you kind of follow it around with your finger and hold it down, it helps make a better circle that way. Oops. Just kind of take your time. And I'm drawing lightly so that if I need to go back and erase some of my pencil mistakes, I can do that easily and not ruin my paper. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to place my rectangle template down on top of my circle template right in the middle. And I'm going to go ahead and trace that around just like I did with my circle. And just going to take your time. It's a little bit harder with these paper stencils. And then these two things are trash. I can throw them away. And then where I see my circle or see my rectangle inside of my circle, these two long lines, I'm not going to need those. So we're going to go back and erase those. That's why I'm also using light pencil strokes so I can erase easily. And erasing these will kind of leave the effect that the rectangle is behind the circle when you're done. So the circle will still be on top of the rectangle, but you'll get rid of the lines right there in the middle. And then what you're going to do is you're going to make like a smaller circle inside of the circle you already created just by following the lines around. Your middle circle may not be perfect, and that's okay. And then we're going to add some decorations to it. So I'm going to go back and add some nice big circles because we're going to color these in later. So if I have like little small areas, it makes it a little hard to color. So I'm going to make some big circles going around my buffalo hide just to kind of make it a little bit more decorative. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to tell your Native American story. You can be a boy, a girl. Their boys and girls looked about the same back then, so either way, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have to be a real story about you. This is just a story that we're making up, a fiction story about an Indian traveler. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first draw my Indian person here in the middle of my symbol. And notice you can't really tell if it's a boy or girl. This is kind of the primitive drawing that they did back then. And then I'm going to tell my story. So my Indian boy started out in the mountains. So I'm going to draw some mountains to symbolize mountains, just some almost triangles there. He started out in the mountains, and then as he was walking through the forest, he noticed a river. So then I'm just going to draw some waves down here for a river. While he was at the river, he stumbled across a large turtle. So over here, I'm just going to try to draw a turtle. And it doesn't have to be perfect. This is kind of how they drew back when they had their Native American tribes. He saw a turtle, and then after his adventure, he went back to his teepee. So up here, I might draw a little teepee for him returning home. Once you have determined your story and you've drawn your story on your page, the next thing you're going to do, this is the last thing we're going to do today, is you're going to take your black Sharpie and you're going to go back and trace all of your lines. Trace carefully, but when you're done, you can always go back and erase any pencil markings that you see to kind of give it a nice clean look. And once you finish tracing everything with your Sharpie, what you're going to do is put your name on the back of your paper. We should have done that before we started. Don't use your Sharpie to put your name on the back of the paper. Please use a pencil. When you use a Sharpie, it bleeds through and it ruins your work. So if you use a pencil, you won't even notice that your name is on the back of your work. So I am going to go ahead and leave you guys to finish drawing or tracing your Native American art in Sharpie. And when you're done, make sure you turn it in so that we have it for next week so that we can add our color to our buffalo hides.